Now, let's dive into the world of Angular with Jeevan from True Streets. He'll be unleashing the power of Angular signals and sharing the best practices for building modern web application. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Hi.
டிஸ்பிளே மிரர் மட்டும் கொடுத்துறீங்களா? டிஸ்பிளே இது கொடுங்க. இல்லை ஆர்ஜிபி HDMI கிளிக் பண்ணுங்க. அதில் மிரர் கொடுங்க. இப்போ ஸ்லைட் ஷோ கொடுங்க.
இப்போ எதில்
இப்போ ஓகே சார், ஸ்லைட் ஷோ மட்டும் கொடுங்க.
இல்லை ஸ்க்ரீன் வந்து ஆஃப் ஆகிடும். நான் இந்த செட்டிங்ஸ் ஆஃப் பண்ணிடுறேன்.
ஓகே. ஐ திங்க் பேட்டரியில்
அந்த பக்கமே போடுறது
இல்லை சார், ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணும்போது ஆஃப் ஆகுது.
நெவர்.
ஸ்லைட் ஷோ கொடுங்க, நான் அந்த ஸ்விட்ச் பண்ணிடுறேன்.
ஸ்லைட் ஷோ கொடுத்துட்டேன்.
Hi everyone. So, is there any Angular developers in the group? Yeah. So, if you could see the Angular community for the last couple of days, right? There might be some upgrades and architectural changes are going on. So, we are going to see one key point that is called signal. So, let me introduce myself. I'm Jeevan. I'm a senior software engineer at Crossface. So, I also contribute to Angular and Stackless and TypeScript as well. So, I'm an open source contributor. And today we are going to look at about signals. So, basically, if you want to understand what is signals, think there's a box which has some magical power. Whenever the value is put on that box, right, or if that value which is inside that box gets updated, it will automatically trigger a notification to the consumers. For an example, if there's a box called A, which is a variable, and whoever in the application updates that value, I can able to get a notification that the A value is updated. So this is a simple form of signal, but let's see in action. So what would be the output for this code? No one knows the answer, or right? Cool. Fine, that's the correct answer. Right? So now what will be the answer for this? It's a simple JavaScript, guys. Again, 3, right? Yeah, absolutely. But do you think this is the right thing? Because we have updated a value here. If we expect Z should be like 4, right? Because x is 1, y is 2, which is we have updated here as a 3, the output should be 5. So, this kind of problems are solved by signals. So, if we convert this code to signals, so this is how it looks like. So, if any updates goes to Z or y or x, right? So, we will be updated that value in this Z. So, we need not to keep on checking, or we need not to keep on getting the trigger of those values. So it automatically updates the values for the Z. So this is how the signal works, the basic paradigm of the signal. So Excuse me. Right. And this is the basic definition of signal. So, which we discussed so far. And as you see, the signal was being released from not from around 16 or 17 version of Angular. And that time it was in a developer preview version. So we don't have a stable version, but now it is a stable version. And if you could see why Angular is moving to signals. Any idea? Any guys have any some ideas? Yeah, please. Go ahead. Yeah, you are absolutely right. And is there anything else apart from zoneless? Sorry? Use of observables. Okay, we are more. Okay, what you said was completely right. I'll a little bit rephrase it. So making an RxJS operator as an option, making that library as an option, and as you said, the zone.js. So if you could see, Angular will not run without an zone.js because every change detection strategy are taken care of zone.js. Now Angular is completely dependent on zone.js. So now they plan to get rid of zone.js so that they are introducing new reactive pattern. We can say that. So that is called signals. So that is why the signals are used. And if you could see the base functionality of signals which we had initial period of signals, right? Which is a writable signal, computed signal, and FX. So writable signals is nothing but a normal signal where you can update the value, set the value, and get the value. But computed signals are read-only signals. It will listen to the signals, and whenever the data are updated to those signals, or to be layman understanding, whenever the values are updated to the variables, it will notify. So we can't update the values for the computed signals. We can only get the values from the computed signals, or we can do some operations inside the computed signals. So I'll show you the code in next slides and effects. So if you could imagine side effects, which is nothing but effects here. So any React fans here? Cool. So hope you guys know what are the side effects. So that is the same thing which Angular is solving, trying to solve in effects. And the latest Angular version is 19, and these two APIs, which is writable signals and computed signals, are stable now. But effects are still under developer review. There are here and there problems are raised by the developers. So still, even though we get that in 16, Angular 16, but still we are keeping it as an experimental feature till 19. So the new signal APIs. So the APIs which we saw previous slides, right? Those are all synchronous signals, which means it won't do any asynchronous operations. We can't do any HTTP calls, or we can't do any asynchronous operations which we need to perform in another application. So now we have these two APIs, which is a linked signal and resource signal. Using the linked signal and resource signal, we can do some asynchronous operation. So I'll show you the code. So as of now, keep this in mind. So you can get deep dive into these two APIs in the upcoming slides. And still, if you see, Angular is upgrading rapidly, but they are backward compatibility. They give lot of migrations, lot of backward compatibility. That is called Angular communities. Still, they are wrong. Even though we have lot of React developers and React communities are there, but if you could take a big giant companies for an example, most of people are ITPS. So if you could take Indian tax paying portal, right? It is developed in Angular. Even though we say React everywhere, it is developed in Angular. So I'm not against React, So point is, React is used for faster and quicker applications. But when we do an big, large scale of application, enterprise application, right? So most of the companies are picking the Angular. So next one is, okay, sorry, I didn't explain this. The two signal, two observable, and RS resource. Two signals is nothing but signals is we need signal to be used in our application, but as of now, we are all are dependent on RxJS operators. So if we have observables, how can we convert them to the signals? So we can use two signals to convert them. So if we have signals and which we need to convert to observable, we can use two observable. And resource is nothing but, so we used to have an API calls in HTTP client, right? So which gives an observable as an output. So we can convert those two signals. So that is the purpose of these three APIs. Still, there are a couple of APIs inside this RxJS protocol, but these are the mainly used operators in the community. And model signal. And personally, I feel this is a game changer API. Why? Because people who work on multiple components, right? If we want to share data between the components or between child and parents, right? We used to have a lot of data. That way in Angular, we used to keep on at input, at output, event editor, lot of boilerplate records. This API solves everything. Whenever we want to push a data to the parent or child or get the data from the child, you can use this. You can just use this single API. You can get the updated value whenever updated by a child or a parent, and we can use in siblings as well. So now let's see in action. So here you can see I'm running an application local. So in this signal, I've used normal signal. So if I want to update a value, right, I can just update the value, and I can even set the value. So this is the variable which used. So this is how we declare the signal, and whenever we need to set a value, there is a function called set, and if we need to update a value, if we want to preserve the previous value and we want to update with the current value, we can use an update. And if you could see, update the details here, right? This is also I have used the signal, but I have passed an extra arrow function. You can see it here. I have used only user ID. So what does this do? So for primitive types, we don't have any issue along with the signals. If we try to update the values, right, it's keep on updating. But when we go for a complex data structures like lists, objects, right, it will keep on updating whenever we put one value in or out, or when we keep on updating. So we want to control that change direction by using this equal operator. What does this do? It will simply take an arrow function where you need to write a condition. So for our case, whenever the user ID updates, right, then only it will update that signal. Until and unless it won't update that signal. So let's go with if you could see, I'm trying to click update the username. I'm unable to add it. So if when I try to use the update, right? Okay, I think sorry. I think so. Okay, I have updated the name. I just misplaced this. So if I type 3 and if I type 4 and update, you can see the value is updating. So when we're working on a object type data structures, right? So we can use this one. And now let's see the computed signals. So as I earlier said,
the computed signals are dependent on another signals. For our case, we have a to-do list with the status where we have to do in pending and completed status. So whenever we try to filter them, right, so the list will be updated. So if you could see here, we have a status signal, and if that is not there, it will return the signals which have a default value, else it will start filtering based on the filtered value. So this is how it will work, and this is the computed signals. And if I try to add something, I can't be able to add it because the computed signals will always have an read only. We can't update the computed signals. We can only update the signals. And as I said, the linked signals, right? So previously we saw the computed signals. We can able to update the value only via signal which is inside the computed signals. Whenever the value updated inside the computed signals, we will get the value. But what if I want to listen to the signal whenever the value is updated? Also, if I want to update that respective signals with my use case. So for that kind of cases, they have brought in this new signal called computed signals. So here you can see the total amount, right? This is on computed signals. So when we update the quantity, it's keep on multiplying based on the quantity. So if I try to change the product, right, it will reset. So from this value, it will get this is a signal. The drop down is a signal which gets the value from here via linked signal. So when we try to update the value for quantity signal, it will keep on updating to the linked signal. So let me show you that. Probably like I'm keep on using the keyword signals lot of time, but angle is moving towards that. So if you could see the boilerplate code, right? I am just having an selected cart. So whenever the selected cart is updated to the quantity, we'll be just updating, multiplying it. So that's it. So these two are signals. We are just using those signals into the linked signals. And now this is an nice API which we are going to use for making an API calls. So if you could see on previous signals, you can't do any API calls using the new signal APIs, but using the resource, right, we have done an API call. Let me jump into the inspect element. Okay. So now I have set the limit for this list is 5. So now let me change it to 10. So now you can see we have get the 10 items. It has been updated. So this is not only updating the value. So if you could see the resource statuses, right? So whenever I change the value, it changes. So I'll to demonstrate that, I'll just throttle the network. So if you could see, now it is in loading state. When it resolved, it will go to the resolved state, and whenever if user adds the value, it will go to the local state. So if it is in a idle, so I'll show you the number of states which are present in the resource. This is an enum which is present inside the resource. So 0 is meant for idle, 1 is meant for error, 2 is meant for loading, and 3 is for reloading, and 4 is for resolve, and 5 is for local. So we have seen couple of errors here, couple of enums here. But for reloading an error, right? If the API gets failed, we will get it. And if we want to reload, for an example, if I clear the filtered list, usually what we will do, we will trigger entire observable needs to be updated to the respective property, or we will reassign the observable to, if we are using an assistant, we will reassign the value. So then only it will re-trigger the API and it will be updated. So that is how normal observable based properties we are going to work on. But if we are going to use resource, right, we have an API called reload. Let me show you that. So whenever we trigger this one, right, it will reload. So we need not to reassign, or we need not to bring those resubtract those values. Nothing is required. We just trigger that reload. The signal will take care of every reloading actions to the that signals. And so 2 signals. So if you could see, the initial value was taken quite bit time to reload. Let me demonstrate again that. I'll just open this accordion so you can see this. The initial value take split millisecond to update its value. So the reason behind it is so now you can see the value for that 2 signals, right? We have the string also is an undefined. The reason behind this is, so the signal 2 signal operator will not handle any errors, and if any errors occurs to that signal, right, it will keep the latest true key value. It will not take any false value, which means it will have the good value which is in that state. So if you want to handle all the error cases, and if you want to have the initial state of that, right, so you can see here with initial value. So now if we hover over this signal, right, we have only signals to be on string. So if we pass the initial value to that signals, right, that undefined will be overridden. So that is how the signals, 2 signals has been used. And whenever we are working on observables, right, make sure you are handling the errors before converting to the signals. So it won't update the latest value to the, even if it is an error, it won't update the values to the signals. And let's go for 2 observables. Let me type. So you can see hello here took some split seconds to update the value, but if you could see the hello with signal, right, it updated within a second. But let's see the code. I've used distinct until change, and even I used debounce time. Even though if I use these filter mechanism, which makes user interaction to be delayed, still the signal is keep on updating. So signal will always try to update the values automatically with the help of change direction. So it won't wait like an observable to wait its filter states. So it will directly update the value. So again, I'll show you a demo. So if you could see the split second where it gets an update, and now go for an let's go for resource signal. So most of our applications will have a search feature where wherever the user types the value, we want to make an API call and get the result. But
what we usually do for each keystroke, we used to do an API call and get it from the
API server, but we use switch map to cancel those APIs. But in resource, where there is an API called abort signal, where you can pass that abort signal to that resource API, which will abort the previous signals, which is similar like a switch map. The operator which we use in RSS, which is similar to that. So as of now, I didn't integrated that this list with an API. I just did on the local state. So you can see whenever we do typing, it will keep on filtering. So let's go for that as well. So this is how we used to have an resource signal, and if you could see, I have a signal which is added to the request. So this request, right, this can have an multiple signals, and we need not to if we have multiple signals, we have to do it in a we have to pass them and make them as an object, and we have to return them to the request. And once the request gets the updated value, right, so loader will take an argument as a request. So I've just destructured and renamed it to then food name, and you can perform your XY logics here. So that is how it will work, resource signal. And as I said, model input. So first I'll show you then component structure, so you'll get some idea. So this is a custom toggle component, which assume like this is a shared component, and this is a consumer component. So we have just used that component here. So we have just binded the value here, and if I try to disable the value in the parent component, the value is disabled. If I try to enable, it is enabled. And if I try to toggle the value inside the custom toggle component, it reflects. So for this, typically what we used to do, we used to get an input decorator, at event emitter decorator, and we used to do lot of boilerplate codes. So if you could see, I just wrote on one single line of code, which take the states of that signal, and we can update those signals in the parent state, and it will reflect, and the values which are getting updated inside that component signals, right, it will also emit it to the parent, or we can say our consumers. So Angular is trying to reduce lot of boilerplate codes using a signal APIs, and this is what I had for this session. And is there any question from audience? Yeah, please. Yeah, that is possible, but still, the thing is like we need to have a service. So how we used to have a behavioral subject to be a common place for to communicate between the siblings, right? So this API is only meant for parent and child. So as of now, so we are going to expect, and there are a couple of talks were going on to bring reactive forms to signals, and probably 20 Angular V20, right? So NG class, NG style, these are also be deprecated. So all the directive based what to say, templates, right? Everything is very different. So if you could see, we have now new control flow. We don't have any NG for everything. Every directive has been removed. So now they have a plan to remove these as well. So they are going to use an JS native APIs. Is there anything else? Yes.
If you have a laptop, you can connect offline. Let's check it out. Anything? Seems like there is a reward for Q&A. So, do I need to ask a question? Okay. So I'm not sure whether other session had this writing event, but I'm not sure. Okay. Even it is surprise for me. Okay, let me ask a simple question. There's a signal which updates its value, and we can't update that respective signal. What is it? Sorry? Yeah, please say. Is there only one question? Or? Okay. There is another one option. So I'll ask another question. What is the purpose of zone case? No. Right? Please. Okay, these are my social media links. So you can connect me to Jeevan Manesha. So you can connect me with LinkedIn, Twitter, or Twitter. And this is the resource. So you can get these tools which are done right. So you can get it from this Twitter report. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jeevan, for your insightful thoughts. Now I invite Mr. Kumara Gurubaran to show our gratitude as a token of love.